Hello everyone, I'm back with another tasty recipe to give your next latte the flavor of the holidays. How do I know that this chestnut praline syrup is that good? I'm drinking it right now, so let's get started. This recipe makes around 2 cups of syrup, and it will stay fresh up to 3 weeks as long as it's refrigerated. For step 1, we'll need 8 or 9 chestnuts and a half cup of chopped pecans. You can find chopped pecans at any local grocery store, and I found a 3-ounce pack of peeled chestnuts on Amazon that was the perfect size. Grab a medium saucepan and set your stovetop temperature halfway between low and medium heat. Then add in your half cup of chopped pecans. Next, add in the 8 or 9 peeled chestnuts. We get to roast the nuts for around 5 minutes. It's important to keep stirring to make sure everything heats evenly. This is around a minute and a half into the process, and the nuts didn't look any different or smell any different, but I could start to feel the heat coming off the saucepan. I went ahead and sped this part of the video up, but we could definitely smell the pecans roasting by the time we hit 5 minutes. And then it's time to add in the next ingredients. These are the ingredients that give the syrup its sweetness and power. They are 1.5 cups of water, 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Once you have these ingredients, carefully pour them into the medium saucepan. But go slow because, as you can see, the saucepan is very hot. First add in the water, then add in the brown sugar and white sugar. I went ahead and had my wife do this part because she's much better at not making a mess. Teamwork makes the dream work. Once you add in all those ingredients, make sure to stir everything together. Then, increase your stovetop to medium heat to bring the saucepan to a boil. The saucepan started to heat up rather quickly, and after a few minutes it looked like this. And 7 minutes in, it started to boil. At this point, it's time to reduce the heat to low. Simmer the mixture for 10 minutes. Reducing your stovetop to low heat should set it to the perfect simmering temperature. Just make sure to stir it occasionally to keep it heating evenly. Halfway through it smelled great and the nuts looked a little darker. As we neared the 10-minute mark, the steam started fogging up my camera lens. After 10 minutes of simmering, it's time to turn off the stovetop. And I carefully removed the entire saucepan from heat. At this point, I began to get super excited. Because it smelled so good, I knew it was going to taste great. But I still had one very important ingredient left. But first, it's time for our quick goose fact. Did you know that geese use a variety of calls to communicate with each other, including mating calls, alarm calls, and calls to warn the flock of danger? Now that's what I call open communication. And now, back to our chestnut praline syrup. For the final ingredient, we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I absolutely love vanilla, so I know how important this step is. Add your vanilla extract to the saucepan. But be careful because it'll still be really hot. Stir everything together to make sure it's mixed really well. Now that we've added everything in, we're down to the final big step. Once we're done with this, we'll be ready to enjoy our delicious chestnut praline syrup. All we need to do is strain out the large pieces of nuts. And lucky for you, I tested a couple methods. You can either scoop out the large pieces with a big spoon, or you can strain out all the particles with a cheesecloth. I was actually surprised at how well the scooping method worked. But it did leave behind some smaller pieces. Whichever method you use, you can set aside the sweet nuts and use them in ice cream, yogurt, or even cereal. And this is what the syrup looked like without using a cheesecloth. You can see some of the smaller pieces are still in there. So then I ran the syrup through a 90-grade cheesecloth. Here's what it was able to strain out. Whichever method you end up going with, or even if you choose both, you're going to end up with delicious syrup. You can use this syrup immediately to make a chestnut praline latte. I know I did. Or you can store it in an airtight container in the fridge. I always use these flip-top bottles. And real quick, I hope you enjoy some official artwork that one of my kids made. Make sure to subscribe to get more fun recipes and even a bit of abstract artwork at the same time. We're a small channel, so it really does mean a lot. I'm so glad that I received the messages on our website community asking me to make this syrup. I can see why it's become so popular, and it really has become one of my favorite latte flavors. And I'm sure many of you love it just as much as I do. Now that we've made this awesome chestnut praline syrup, you need to check out another fun favorite, our pumpkin spice syrup recipe. See you there!